Marketing agency, failed. E-commerce brand, I made some money, but then I got bored, failed. Third project, I said, you know what's my passion? I was following my passion. I raised 400,000 dirhams. After the first prototype, the two investors said, this is gonna cost a lot. And they pulled out. At that time, the only income that I had, I stopped taking income from my family since I was 18. The only income that I had was PT. That's why people tell me when he's like, he's only 30, how he has 12 years of experience and 6,000 clients. It's because I started very early by a chance.
What do you see as a difference, maybe culturally and psychologically, between, say, the Middle East versus maybe, say, for example, the West or the US?
All the mentors that I've learned from, they're from USA, UK. Their methods, even the agencies from email marketing stuff, they apply the method that works in there. It doesn't work in here at all in the Arab market. So I needed to build my own sales script from scratch. I needed to build the specific type of DM setting.
What would be the best piece of advice you'd give to yourself when you were 18 if you were looking back now? Welcome to today's podcast. Today we are with Nabih, who is one of the best online coaches and fitness experts in the Middle East. You've got a brand that's absolutely blown up in the Arabic world. You also have a lot of other depth to you outside health and fitness, which is a lot of things we want to try and talk about today. If you were going to give an elevator pitch in terms of who you are, how would you describe yourself and what you do?
Thank you first of which for this amazing introduction, Charlie. My name is Nabih. I'm basically pharmacist, nutritionist, and coach. But my passion is not all of this. This is the certificates that I took from the mission. What I like to read about is mostly human behavior, human psychology, plus business, big time. I grew a personal brand to around 1 million. We're about to hit 1 million, 5,000 followers away on Instagram, million plus across all platforms, 50 million views every month that we have across all platforms. In the last 18 months when I started to lock in. Somebody who wants to pave the way for the next generation somehow. And I know this sounds cliche for a guy who's a personal trainer. Every time you walk in the room, they tell you, oh, you're a personal trainer, because they check the profile. And then they don't know that there is the info space, which you and I were in, and you're helping me since I'm now part of the 7-figure scaling system in the CEO program. Highly, highly recommend. That's number one. Support is impregnable. A funny story that you don't know something about me. Sorry, I interrupted.
Go.
But
like, good.
When I'll just tell you something. Yeah. What started all of this in the online space, although I tried different mentor before, was your free 4C course.
Really?
You didn't know this?
No.
That was the one, which was content, comment, conversations, goals.
Yeah.
That was started it all. That 4C 7 to 8 minutes course or something like this, it was way beneficial than anything else, plus everything that Hormozi posts. It was way better than everything I've ever paid for. I'm just telling you straight up. But then I implemented it with other automation tools, but it worked. So
a link below if anyone wants details. And what I think is so interesting about that is firstly that you actually applied the knowledge to it, because this is where I feel like banging my head against the wall to people sometimes. Is like, just like I give stuff for free. If you just do it, it will work. And I think the reason why that works is, like you mentioned, human psychology is something we'll talk about, is everything is very logical when you break it down. Yeah. And that's why I like business, because if you just look at the business or why it's not working the way it should, there's always a logical problem that needs to be solved. But most people are trying to solve like the problem at chapter 12 rather than the problem at chapter 1, which is why their business is stuck or it doesn't ever work.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, that was first of which the tip is like, you focus on having depth with whatever leads rather than do this. Because now with all the competition that's going on, and now every other human being is either a fitness coach or a business coach, you need to build that depth. And that comes out, I've heard a couple of days back that in the next generation or in the next 3-4 years, it wouldn't be the Hollywood stars or all of these people, it would be the streamers. And we saw a huge example, 10-hour stream with Hormozi.
Yeah, that's actually a great example.
That's a stream, and he kept the stream rolling.
Yeah.
Like I opened at day 3 and there was this green mannequin and he's holding the book. And people are just watching and purchasing, and you read the comments. They respected the hard work. They respected the pitch. And they're like, we're going to buy. So it's more of a depth, you know? YouTube is a big thing. You always say that.
For me, I was going to go into the Hormozy thing. That for me just proves he's like the Michael Jordan of marketing and the info space, because he completely reset the bar in terms of what's possible in 2-3 days and just blew everyone out of the water. And really interesting thing, I remember I was with Tanner Chisler a week before, who's like great friends with Hormozy. We were sitting having dinner at the Palm and he was texting Alex, and he showed me a message from Alex, like this long in-depth message, all the stuff that he was doing for the event. He had 29 payment processes. And I was like, what? Why does he need 20 payment processes? And I was also at their head office like 5 days beforehand. They had massive backup power generators in the car park. And I was like, something's going on here. This isn't just like a book launch. And then it obviously all kind of makes sense. But what I think will be interesting now is how many people will probably try and do a bad job of trying to copy that.
Big time. That's absolutely. And I don't think, I don't know if you noticed this, but he's going to do another event on the end of October to teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
So hope there will be a big upsell there. But it's crazy. And if you think about it, even here in Dubai, whenever Emar, Damak, all of these people, it's all about launches. It's all about that launch. If you can sell to many. I don't know. I feel that, yes, sales and closers and all of that, they're in place. But if you master to sell one to many, whatever it is, YouTube, etc., like even Iman Gadzi does the same with his big VSL. It crushes all the time.
And we were just talking about this beforehand with Mike Field, that the whole thing wouldn't work if you didn't have a brand. Mm-hmm. So like you have a great brand. I mean, I have a great brand, like the business aspect. And I think the problem is that most people, if we talk about like human psychology, they don't have the ability to have delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Like they aren't willing to like make a video today and not make any money today from that video. They have to understand like the things you do right now are going to compound for you over a period of time, and the longer you stay in the game, like the easier it gets. Someone actually asked me at Alex Hormozy's event, like how, when I was at his office the other week, and they were like, how long has it taken you to build your brand? And I was like, 7 years. And then the guy just started laughing, because Benson's actually Tanner's brother, because it's like most people think everything is kind of like an overnight success. Yeah. But even if you look at Alex, his business, his social media, it took him 4 years to build an online presence, and he spent $2.7 million on team and stuff to do that.
4 years to do one launch, because the previous launch, he didn't pitch a price. And this reminds me, yes, the first time I've received a DM from you was 4 years back, was 3.5 years back, 4 years back. You had like, I still remember like 300,000 followers, something like this. And you were having the fitness business as the main thing at that time, and you just DM'd me, you know? At the time where no one knew what's DMing and stuff, so I thought you are really talking to me. I had like, I don't know, 10,000 followers by that time. It was amazing.
So I also think what you just said there is a very interesting thing in terms of human psychology and marketing, because one of the reasons why people get stuck, in my opinion, from a business aspect, is they're not constantly innovating, because with human psychology and consumer awareness, people get used to getting sold a certain way, and then it no longer works. So that's where it's constantly understanding, okay, how are people kind of evolving in terms of how they're buying and how are buying behaviors changing. And I actually think one thing that's important to understand for anyone who's maybe a high-level entrepreneur listening to this is that the way you buy might not be the way other people buy. So like we're slaying on a VSL in our own business. I wouldn't buy from a VSL, but then I'm not a normal person, and I'm not the average kind of buyer. Whereas I'm like the easiest dude. I've paid someone like 40 grand in like a DM before, because I'm in. I was like, just tell me the price. And it's like, oh, it's 40K. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm in. Like, I don't even need to call. Like, just sell me the thing.
I did the same with you.
Yeah, actually,
I didn't go on a call. I just texted you on WhatsApp, and I'm like, got your number.
Because that's the reality. Like most people who are very successful, they are successful because they're decisive. They don't need to be. I put a story about this the other day because I used to get pissed, been like, if you have to be sold to go and like committed and push your own goals, like you won't win.
Yeah, I read that.
Like I'm just literally like, I just can't understand people who like, they don't have the belief in themselves. And if you don't have the belief in yourself, then no one else ever will either.
Speaking about brand, you just mentioned to me. So that personal brands in specific. Currently, what I see is that me and you, we are a personal brand, but if you open our profile, everybody knows he is an educator for a service that he sells. This guy is trying to sell me something. There's a lot of personal brands out there. People follow them, love them. They have a community. But I mean, if they would offer to sell something, no one would buy. Which one you think it's more beneficial nowadays? Because people have been reaching out to me and telling me, Nabih, we miss the old Nabih who posts on the story. I'm like, yeah, I don't miss that person. It doesn't sell, you know. I don't care. Like, honestly, even when I post the stories, yes, I want to build connection, but I just don't want to share what I'm gonna have for dinner and stuff unless it's related to the topic and it generates these. Alia, your massive success story, she doesn't even post that much stories. She just want to run ads, do service, a good service, and then that's it. Even the guy who Hormozy interviewed, who has a PT franchising company, we're talking about the space, they got like 7,000 followers. That's it. And Hormozy got him on the webinar. Probably they're doing great. What do you think? Should you build a personal brand on community, or this guy is trying to sell me something?
So there's a difference between being an entertainer and being an educator. There's a lot of people who are entertainers who have loads of traffic and views, but no one would ever buy from because they won't take them seriously. Whereas if you position yourself as an educator in a specific niche, you can make a lot of money doing that. I give an example. There's a guy who was a client of ours. He messaged me last month. He made £780,000 in a single month profit, like in his actual bank account. He's not in fitness. He works in finance. And this is all off of LinkedIn. And he has maybe 12,000 followers on there. And I'm like, dude, your content's terrible. Like, just please let me help you. And he was actually a fitness client of mine. He paid a lot of money for that. And he was also a very high level business client with us in 7-figure scaling systems. And that for me is probably an extreme example of like, he's top level of what he does, but he's not an entertainer in terms of his world. And even if you look at, for example, Hormozy's content, yes, he has a very big audience now, but if I take it back, when I first came across him, I found his podcast maybe in 2021. I was like, this is sick, because he was an educator. So I probably binged like 300 episodes, like back to back to back. And that's where the value is being an educator rather than entertainer. Whereas I see a lot of people say, for example, in the fitness space, who maybe are seen as more of an entertainer, which is why no one actually wants to go and work with them, because they're not taken very seriously, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do agree.
I think there's an element of both. So if you look at the extremes of things, what I like to, if you look at like Mr. Beast, it's an entertainer. But then if you've got the biggest YouTube channel in the world, then it's kind of different. And also the monetization off the back of that. I think YouTube, if you're going to be an entertainer on that and you can get a lot of views, like all power to you, you can make a lot of money doing that. I think on short form content, less so, because entertaining content on long form, people are still going to buy into you as a person a lot, and they'll see weird things you like, what energy drinks do you like, and then you could sell the energy drinks, and you can't see that fashion going around a bit at the moment.
Yeah, I do agree with you.
With the difference, obviously, you're Syrian, you've grown up in Dubai.
I've born and raised here.
Born and raised Dubai. What do you see as a difference, maybe culturally and psychologically, between, say, the Middle East, where your business obviously operates, versus maybe, say, for example, the West or the US?
So that's a very interesting question. All the mentors that I've learned from, they're from USA, UK. So their methods, even the agencies from email marketing stuff, they apply the method that works in there, doesn't work in here at all in the Arab market. Even when it comes to closing people and being so hard on the call and trying to get their card number and stuff, there's so much skeptic. So you need to be soft yet hard while closing them. So I needed to build my own sales script from scratch. I needed to build the specific type of DM setting. They hate automations. They don't understand what's a VSL. It's not very well known. That gives you an edge where you can actually make a lot of money out of that. Also, let's just be honest, there is no that much competition in the Arabic market in the fitness and health space, business perspective. Knowledge perspective, yeah, they're most knowledgeable than me, but like, they don't know how to stack this knowledge and offer in a way to get it easier. Different mindset. The only reason, and I'll tell you something, the GCC mindset is different from my original country mindset. And the only reason I could have made it here is because I was born and raised here. So I speak even their accent. I understand the way that they think, because basically I don't have the passport, but I'm born and raised here. So I just live with them. So I know what's the ideal avatar. I know what when they answer a questionnaire and they say they work in military, I know that there is 20 military jobs here, and I know how they work, and I know how to, and different. And they, when I go on the call, they get shocked. Like sometimes if they're in military, they're not supposed to tell me how's their routine like. So just I work in military. I can't open the camera right now because The moment he tell me this, I'm like, so you work here, so you do this, so you have this type of shifts, and he's like shocked. I'm like, yeah, I worked for hundreds of people like you. I know everything about you. And I know you're gonna maybe be in London with one of the sheikhs in the next month or so. And he's like, yeah, how do you know? I'm like, and I know that you have this fitness assessment test, which is usually here, by the way. It's 3.2 kilometer run, 200 push-ups, and then they have to do jiu-jitsu. And that's in the army. And I started getting known for this, so they come to me directly, they want that. So when first I started running and posting, I used to be on cycle, so I used to be 15 kg heavier than this, and running, so it was the peak of the hybrid athlete thing. So I had a lot of locals and GCC people come to me, especially locals, and they're like, we want to run, and we see you like you're in good shape, but you run, okay? So they're like, we have this fitness test, which is 3.2 kilometers. We need to do this BMI. And that, for a while, slayed as an offer. I even ran ads once, and I told them, if you work in military police and you have your fitness test that's coming in, reach me out. We can do you a plan, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's crazy. And I even knew, I did so many calls of them that I know what the price point that they would buy. For example, they would buy when you tell them it's 6K in dirhams and you downsell to 4.5K just because they work in the military, they buy it.
Military discount.
Military discount plus 1 month bonus, they buy it. But if you tell them it's 6K alone or 2K USD or something, they don't buy it. It's like there are price points that they buy in that I tested, and there are other price points that they don't buy in. That gives you the knowledge and the depths of who is the ideal persona and ideal avatar that you're trying to target.
Why do you think the obesity seems to be a bit of an issue in the Middle East? So if you look at like certain countries in the world have a massive problem. So the United States has 75% of the population is obese. Like the most shocking moment of my life is like, normally I go to America, I go to the gym and I go to Whole Foods and like nice places, and there's not that many fat people. Mm-hmm. If you go to Universal Studios, it will like break your entire paradigm of what normal human beings look like. So like for anyone who's been there, you can comment below and you'll probably agree with that. There's certain countries in the world that have that, so maybe the UK to a degree now, but then there's certain European countries, like France has very little obesity. Yeah. Italy has very little obesity, yet they'll have like probably the best food in the world. Why do you think in the Middle East there's maybe a bit of an obesity problem?
So I'll tell you something. When I was raised here, there wasn't the new trends in restaurants like now. Like now, Dubai is very well known for all type of restaurants, cuisines and stuff. When I grew up to like 15, 16 years, there was one restaurant, two restaurants known. And there, yes, there was the fast food chains, but people knew that these are fast food restaurants. So if you come to the local food, the local Khaliji food, it's basically rice, white rice, which every bodybuilder eats. And it's grilled fish or fried fish, but it's still like lean fish. It's not gonna hold a lot of, it's like the fresh fish, they fry it. Like it's not the breaded one stuff. Or it's meat. And they don't do a lot of sweets here. They used to be fit. Now what happened is two things. One, they don't move a lot because of the heat. None of us can walk outside unless you want to wake up at 5, 6 a.m. Maybe 5 months of the year. Plus, on top of that, the new restaurants with all the sugars and brands and stuff, that caused a big difference. Like, I can clearly see when I used to be in school here, all my friends are local, they're all fit, they're all in shape. You with every 20 students, you find one of them that is obese. The 19 are fit. Currently, what I see from my younger brother is like 19 out of them are fat and one of them is fit. And I think it's because of less movement because of the heat. That's environment. Bonus is all the new restaurants, sweets, and everything that's going on. So the only activity to do, unless you go to the gym, if you're a normal human being in this heat, is actually to eat and go try out the new restaurants. And that's exactly what happens. That's the way that I believe it. But now, with the vision of His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, they're doing everything that is possible to actually make sports easier. So this is an amazing example. His Highness Sheikh Hamdan always leads by example. So I'll give you an example of this. Maybe you don't know because I'm based in the Arabic world and I'm in that community. So Meydan cycling track. Yeah. They opened Meydan cycling track. That was years back. He knew that he needed to lead by example. He started to cycle daily with his crew. Daily. And then people started implementing this, and they're like, oh, if our leader is cycling daily, we should start cycling. And that blew up the cycling industry first. And then the running and the Dubai run that they do, how many people? Maybe 200, 300,000 people in one place. And the way that they organize it, now they announced the biggest building, Burj Tower for wellness, that they are going to build in 2030 or 2035. All these investment, the Dubai 30-30 challenge. So when you create this is impacting big time. And now what I've seen in the last 2-3 years is honestly the whole area, expats living, locals, Khalijis, they're getting inspired. And even now other countries such as Saudi Arabia, Qatar, they started getting inspired by this movement of Dubai, and they started applying it. And coming from my local friends as well, they always look up to their leaders. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. They all say, look how they look well in the Kandura. They're fit, they're built, they train, although they're 40, 50 years old, 60 years old and above. So I personally believe that obesity is very low compared to outside, number one. I'll be very honest with you. I traveled like to certain countries in Europe and in the States. Yes, as you said, obesity is crazy. So I believe that if you compare, for example, States to Dubai is way healthier, way healthier. And even in Saudi Arabia now, every single restaurant is forced to write the calories, the macros, and they are putting fees on them. And even here, it's now very well known, like you go in a restaurant and you ask them about the calories and stuff. And let me tell you something. So before 5 years in the restaurants here, and this helped me with our clients as well. Before 5-6 years, if you sit in any restaurant and you ask the waiter, can you please ask the chef, what's the ingredients of this, how many grams and stuff? They would say, we can't, it's the secret recipe. They're not allowed to do that anymore. They have to tell you. So that's a hack no one knows. I used to have a restaurant and it failed. I failed in the F&B business. But the thing is, the waiter doesn't know the ingredients or the grams. The chef has to know to order from inventory. So even if they put ketchup, they know the amount of grams of ketchup. So that's what I tell the clients that we work with. You can simply just ask and tailor the plate the way that you want it. And they have to do it. There's no one, like even Zuma now is not allowed to tell you, oh, this is our standard menu, we will not change it. But they will tell you if it tastes like crap, we're not gonna refund you. But they have to, because Dubai did that and they wanted to control the food and activity. So activity, they raised the events, and then the food, they forced all the restaurants to do this. There's no one restaurant that is not allowed right now, or that it will tell you it's not allowed to share with you, or I cannot change your plate.
I have an interesting question for you I've just thought of that I've never known the answer to. I probably could have asked AI. Why do they take the salt and the minerals out of bottled water here?
I'm not sure if they do that outside. I'm not sure. But I believe this is just a trend from the water companies, because there happened a certain area of time where all these influencer content creators, doctors, stuff, they started saying no sodium, no sodium, no sodium. And the reason is Arabs use a lot of salt in their food. Now they don't train, they don't sweat a lot, and guess what? High blood pressure. So they wanted to control that. So what happens now, building our AI health engine, and we read a lot of this, is that they just get a group of people, they do a study, and they say, okay, we're having a lot of blood pressure medications being sold by insurance. So probably we need to go with a marketing awareness campaign that you need to reduce salt. And of course, water companies use that to their side, so that they create different products. Because if you think about it, the normal water, which is top, is for 1 dirham, for Al Ain water, whatever brands. And then the low sodium one is 1.55. It didn't cost them anything. They just placed it in a different way. And then there is the alkaline water, which is, in my opinion, it's marketing as well. But you get it. And now the trend came back again, where you need salt, and all the electrolytes came back. The funny thing, the other day I was talking to someone, I'm like, the old school bodybuilders, they used to be the healthiest human being beside the PEDs use ever. They used to use glutamine and creatine, and maybe 1-2 supplement more. But they used to think that glutamine is for muscle and creatine is for muscle as well. And now they tell you, no, creatine is for your brain, for your energy, and glutamine is actually to fix your gut. And we're back to basics again after trying all these supplements, which come to the line is like, with the AI app that I'm building and the book that I'm writing about supplements, is that I call it the 3-to-1 rule. So you don't need to take more than 6 supplements if you're a normal dude. How to do that? You pick a foundation. So there's a list of foundation. You pick 3 of them, whatever you need. And then to boost whatever it is, energy, testosterone, you pick 2. And there's 1 supplement to fix. So you fix 1 issue at a time. You use 2 supplements to boost one thing at a time. And then you have your foundation, and then you rotate them based on test. So this would make it easier because people are overwhelmed with all the supplements. They don't want to take 21 pills per day. So I said, let's do 6. And I like the number 6 because it sells.
What would you say are the top 6 supplements someone should take then?
In my opinion, omega-3 vitamin, for the base, omega-3, vitamin D, and then the third one depends on every case. So for men, I would say zinc. For some people, I would say creatine. I think these are the top 3 base. Like no matter what you do, you train or not, you should take creatine, in my opinion, of the way that I say it. Now boost, it depends. For example, for me and you, I think we want to focus on productivity and cognition more than anything else, because obviously testosterone supplements doesn't work. We'd rather take TRT. I would say alpha GPC and L-theanine, and of course, like one of them, caffeine. And if you want to fix a problem, and that's I've seen, so 2 common problems, and I've seen around more than 6,000 blood tests in my life. One here in the Arab world is actually sugar and insulin resistance. And people do not know that they are going to a pre-diabetic stage. So I would say berberine if they don't want to take a glucophage. Number 2 is actually cholesterol. And most of them, they tell you this is genetic. And they do the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. They stop all the fat in eggs where you need that to fix it. And they end up with medication. There is this bergamot and niacin. If you take them, I've seen them super beneficial in reducing cholesterol in 6 to 8 weeks at a certain level, at a tiny dose, like a medication. So if you compare it to a tiny dose of Cristor or Lipitor or whatever and reducing cholesterol, this does the same. And this, you can stay with it your whole life. And then you do an assessment every 30 days or every 6 weeks, and then you rotate the supplements over again. But the foundation stays the same. That's the framework. It's not backed up, but it's a framework. Same as Hormozi framework, your framework. It's a framework.
One of the things I think is the most fascinating, kind of delving into here right now, is, in my opinion, Dubai almost has the best health infrastructure in the world. So, for example, I get my blood tested every 6 weeks. The nurse turns up at my house at 6 a.m. to take the blood. I don't even have to leave. Like, I literally wake up and then they're there, and then they take it and then get the results back like a day later. You've got, in my opinion, probably the best gyms in the world. And there's so many of the gyms and there's so much equipment. You can get supplements delivered to your door within like an hour or 2, peptides, like whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yet there's still some people kind of hesitant, I think, to even try and get in shape here, which I think is interesting. A lot of that is also expats who come here sometimes for too much of like a good time. And I can't remember, they call it like the Dubai 15 or something, where like a lot of the expats who come here end up gaining like 15 pounds in the first year.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to people to try and make health and fitness part of their lifestyle if it's not already?
Number 1, they don't train in their gym buildings. Number 1. They actually...
Why?
Because I don't know if you read this book, Grit, but it tells you if you want to win a championship, you join a championship team. So sometimes I join groups and mentors and communities in business and outside, not because of anything, but because if I'm there, it's going to reshape my environment. I don't know if you heard this, but you know the US Army, when they were in Vietnam, they used to take cocaine or heroin, and then when they went back, nothing happened. They stopped it. It's because when you change the behavior, they change the habit. So that's the thing. That thing that I highly believe in. You can dictate the behavior of a human being if you control all the variables. Even on sales calls, I tell my team, if you control all the variables, I can control the behavior of a human being. And I think there is a American psychologist called B.F. Skinner, like you can lead a horse to a water, and Hormozi says this all the time, you can lead a horse to water, but you can never force them to drink. Me having a horse before, yes, that's true. But if you dehydrate the horse, you ride it for 40 kilometers, you put salt on their mouth and put their head next to water, they're gonna drink. Same thing with everything else. So it's how you eliminate everything beside one thing that you dictate that behavior. So I would say join a gym, go to these big gyms such as Warehouse, Train SF. I hate some gyms, but like gyms like that, where you'll see everyone is fit. So you're forced to do that, number one. Healthy food is not expensive at all. It's actually the cheapest things on earth. Don't fall to the scams of marketing of all the protein bars and all of that. Rice is super cheap. Cucumber is super cheap, which is your green veggies. And then literally Spinneys here sell you a chicken breast cooked and ready for 10 dirhams. So you basically don't need anything, you know. With AI coming up, you can get tons of recipes. But the problem with people is that they don't know how to communicate with themselves, so they don't know how to use AI. I've seen people shouting at ChatGPT. It's like, you're dumb. You don't know how to talk to ChatGPT. That's it. This is a tool in your hand. I think this is the number two. Join a community join a group class, invest in any type of a PT, online coach, whatever, because you learn that tool and then you apply it for the rest of your life.
What's also is a life game skill acquisition. You don't realize the skills you don't have until you see the deficiencies. And I think that's what I'm a big believer in, like the law of exposure. Like, so for anyone who's never been to Dubai before, the first time you come here, like every night I see both the Atlantis lit up and all this crazy shit. And it kind of like, we're currently actually like a mile and a half out at sea right now as we film this. Like, this is reclaimed land that's actually in the middle of the ocean. So I think a lot of these things are breaking limiting beliefs. And I think the number one reason most people don't have the body they want or the business they want is limiting belief. Because, and I'll give you a good example. So, and this kind of pisses me off a lot. I saw someone commented on one of my ads. No, actually it was even better. I took a screenshot of it. I might even put it on the screen now. Someone sent me a really shitty message off the reply off of one of our ads, basically talking about how Dave Kennedy made 250K a month or whatever it was. Being like, this is bullshit. You're making us up. Like, dude, like, how much more do I fucking have to prove this? Like, there's videos of me and him. There's fucking like, everyone is skeptical because of their own insecurity of where they are right now. So whether that's you take the piss out of people who go to the gym, or you take the piss out of people who want to work in their business. And I actually think, sadly, that's one of the things that often stops people from first wanting to maybe get in shape or start the business, is they're too worried about what Karen, who lives next door, is going to say when they see him going to the gym at 6 a.m.
You know what's the funny part? He follows you. It happens to me all the time. They share posts, reels on my stories, and they trash talk me. And I enter, and he follows me. Like, okay, unfollow me. But I think this guy, if he's in the fitness field, just give him a while, because he just commented on your ad, so he's gonna see your ad. He's gonna turn into a client. Let me tell you why. Tanner Chunk, the CrossFit guy.
Yeah. Tanner Chunk.
Bro, he used to trash talk you, and he said that. And then he attended your mastermind.
Yeah.
And then he figured out, oh, wow. And then you guys became friends.
Yeah.
And then you shot. That's what people. They just, they're so skeptic about everything in their lives. They're not sure about themselves even. So it's a reflection of what they feel, actually.
And that's why I'm a big believer that the world is a mirror, not a window. Because like, people who are lashing out at other people for a certain thing is because a reflection of themselves is something that they can't do or they don't like.
Yeah. Probably he's sitting on his bathroom scrolling after he fought with his wife, and then is like, Charlie's the first guy. He's trying to scam me. Bam.
But bro, I've seen the same thing with people with Slayton Hormozy like the last day or two. I'm like, I said, like, what point can people not kind of get criticized? But I also think this is an interesting thing that I've learned. The more success, paraphrase, you get, the more heat and flack you're just generally going to get anyway that kind of comes with it. And I also think that's one of the skills as an entrepreneur you have to be able to deal with, is people kind of throwing shit at you all the time, because the more success you're going to get, the more that's going to happen over and over and over again, regardless of what you do.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
In terms of you and your entrepreneurial background from where you are now, how did this all first start? Because it's maybe not normal for people in the Middle East to go and start a business straight away or do like info online stuff. As you said, it's very unusual for people to be in this world, in the Arabic market.
That's a funny story. Do you have time, right?
We got those.
Cool. Okay, cool. So my first entrepreneurial journey started when I was 17. Today I'm 30. I was born and raised here, but there were 2 years I lived in Syria because we were planning to move in. Then the war started. And I came from war directly to here. I was 17 years old and I was just about to start university. The reason I had a bachelor degree on pharmacy or I studied pharmacy is because my family chose it to me. I didn't know what I want. So first semester, I come from a family, amazing people, but they're all not business owners. I thought if you study more and you have a high GPA, you make more money. That's how I started, okay? So I started the first semester by having the highest GPA across all the medical university men, because I can't compete with females in studying. I had like 3.9 out of 4 GPA. And then I realized that if I have a 4 GPA, that will not make me money. So then I stopped studying somehow, and then I started working. And the first thing ever that I ever started was a marketing agency with a friend of mine. And we built even something like Love in Dubai right now. It used to call Here's Dubai. And I still have the picture with His Highness Sheikh and His Excellency Dahi Khalfan, which is the Chief Officer of Dubai Police at that time. And we were the best social media supporter as a page for Expo 2020 before even Dubai went the Expo 2020. And I got awarded. And then this happened. We started this marketing agency for 1 to 2 years. And then I was studying at that time. And then I just started training at that time. And then I fought me and him, left it. I felt into depression for months. And then the next project was an e-commerce temporary tattoo for ladies, which is stickers. Because in our culture, tattoo is considered haram in religion. So ladies wants to put the tattoo, so they would rather do stickers. It's like an e-commerce brand. And then funny enough, I said, no, I have a different vision. Now bear in mind, I'm a guy who's studying pharmacy and I'm training, and I used to be 96 kgs, big and jacked. I used to hit Nanderlawn and Deka like crazy at the age of 17, 18. But I used to be shy to call myself a PT, although my first ever personal training client is called Faiz Saeed. He's an Emirati singer and music composer, and he's the #1 music composer in the whole GCC, and he's super famous. He was my first personal training client that happened through a connection at the age of 18, and he stayed with me for 10 years as a client, loyal client. And I used to be shy to even say that I'm a PT, because in my head, my family told me, oh, you're a pharmacist, you're a doctor. What's a PT? But at that time, there was no PTs. Like, if you're a PT, you're nothing. And I said, no, I'm not a PT, I'm not a pharmacist, I'm an entrepreneur. I used to be dumb, okay, basically. And there wasn't this knowledge in YouTube. So, marketing agency, failed. E-commerce brand, I made some money, but then I got bored, failed. Third project, I said, you know what's my passion? I was following my passion. My passion is watches. So I want to build a watch brand, and we'll take over Instagram. And I actually had a diploma in watchmaking, watch essentials from Switzerland online. And it was funded by Sadiqi and Sons, by the way, the whole course. Then I started and I raised funds. I raised 400,000 dirhams. After the first prototype, the two investors said, this is going to cost a lot. And they pulled out. I still have the prototypes till now. Felt into depression again. At that time, the only income that I had, I stopped taking income from my family since I was 18. The only income that I had was PT. And I kept getting clients every month. So I used to study. I used to go 2 hours to the university, and then I train people as a PT. That's why people tell me when he's like, he's only 30, how he has 12 years of experience and 6,000 clients. It's because I started very early by a chance. Like, it wasn't something. And then the next project, I started an app for micro-influencers. At that time, Huda Beauty had 300,000 followers. So you can just measure the timeline. It failed again because of wrong partnership. And then at that time I graduated, and I said, you know what? I might get a job and understand what's the thing. I got a job for a couple of months, and then they kicked me out because I'm not a job person. I got a corporate job in sales, and then they kicked me out. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna spiritually, I'm trying everything and losing. And the only thing that I'm not trying in and I keep receiving client is PT. So let me just take it full time. Took it full time. Throughout the line, I did some projects. Like, for example, when COVID started and everything shut down, I needed to work and this is a fun story, you will hear it right now. So I needed to make money because I couldn't PT anymore. And there was no online that much, because bear in mind that Zoom wasn't known. Zoom got known after COVID. So I said, okay, cool. I know all the suppliers of gym equipments. Let me start selling gyms. And I used to have an old sedan car that can only handle a carry of 200 kgs per shipping, because you can't put more. And you know, one plate is 2. I used to buy the barbell for 200 dirhams and sell it for 2,500. And that broke my limiting belief. I was making in profit like 10,000 dirhams a day. I'm like, wow, I used to make 20,000 per month. Now I make it in 2 days. And then I realized that money is not scarce, it's abundant. You know how to do it. And then gym opened again. I got depressed for a while because there was not this cash flow. Went back to PT again. Throughout that, I started a bakery and a restaurant, and they failed. It was supposed to be a banana bread brand, low calorie banana, same as cinnamon buns. Anyways, it failed, whatever. So, and then I said to myself, PT is nice, but I want to jump to the next level, And then I said, okay, I saw a real estate opportunity to be a broker. You see how many things I tried. But the main thing is always PT, is always fitness, is always creating content about that. But I was jumping because I first of which, I used to be skeptical about the online world. That's number one. So I thought it's a scam. Like, you can't make 5K or 10K online. That's number one thing. I was trying all these agencies and running ads to get PT clients, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to be a real estate broker. Started, but I said, then if I start, I wouldn't be able to do PT anymore. So I stopped PT. And I said, then the only way is online, just to get some cash flow. That was started the online, to be honest. Back in like 2021, 2022. I left real estate because I realized 99% of the brokers, sellers, and buyers are liars. And I don't like to lie. I like to commit to my time. You saw me today. Our appointment is 10. I told you it's 10:10. Like, I don't like to be late. I don't like to do all of that. So I left it. And then that was the best thing, started online. In 2020, because I kept searching for gym equipments, I saw an ad for gym launch. I don't know how I saw it, because maybe I used to see all the equipments, and I started all the brands, Cybex, Panato, all of this. In the US, maybe the algorithm catch me and showed me the ad. So I tapped on it because my intention was like, if I know how to build equipments and get it so cheap, I'm gonna raise funds and open a gym after COVID. And then I booked a call with Gym Launch, and I started their program, and they said they don't operate outside of US, but because they were low in cash at that season, because COVID hit hard in USA, they agreed on giving me split payments, and I paid 4,000 upfront. And that was where I knew Hormozi. And I consider having him as my first mentor. It was at that time, by the way, where it started changing everything. And there was one group call where he was speaking about how you structure an offer, and like same as the 100 million offers. And then it started from there online, and that's in a nutshell. Today is today. My main business is this health optimization transformation company where we cover training, nutrition, supplementation, everything purely online.
You failed in a lot of businesses, yet have kept going. And I think for anyone listening to that, the most important thing I take from that is your ability just to pick yourself up and dust yourself and go again. Because the number one skill you need to have in business is resilience. And I see that a lot with people who they run an ad and it doesn't work. And I'm like, well, dude, if it worked the first time for every single person, then everyone would be worth tens of millions. If it was that, I always look at things, if it's kind of difficult, it's kind of good, because it means less people can kind of follow you through the path.
People from your community, they're saying this.
Yeah, just generally, okay. Even some of our clients or whatever. And I had this conversation with Mike about our YouTube. It's I don't care. I'll just keep making videos until we get 1 million subscribers. So eventually you will get there.
What I'm going to say next is maybe the best ad for you. All right. I've tried over 15 marketing agencies to run ads all over my lifetime, whether it's in the bakery, whether it's stuff. All of them. They're a scam. They never delivered result. You are the only person with your guidance that actually made me deliver results to my ads. Strictly honest. And the reason I came to work with you is because you're expert in ads. So whoever is the community telling you that one ad didn't work, you should go try the other agencies out there. Rip off. You actually focus on this. That's the main thing. I believe the strongest thing you have is ads. So if people are telling you, they're they should reframe reality for themselves.
Why do you think, so what specifically do you think was the difference in terms of what we did with you with ads versus what happened previously? Because this is my opinion, is a lot of people are trying to teach things that they've never done. So like before this
100%.
podcast, I was tinkering with our Facebook ads.
100%.
Because I actually enjoy doing it, but I see it as like a big video game with like money that you can like
100%.
educate gambling is kind of like what Facebook ads is.
100%. That's number one. Number two, and I tell it to everyone out there nowadays, is because when they speak and they say, oh, I've signed up with this mentor before that teaches me how to sales. And I'm like, yeah, how did you buy his course? Through a master class. Did you buy it through okay, hear me out. So there's this mentor.
Do you want to know something funny?
Yeah.
You came into our funnel from Facebook ads. So you came in through our Facebook ads mastery course into our 5C. And
that's
so I can see that in our tracking.
The old one. Yeah, that's correct. So they try to teach you stuff that they've never done. They tell you, I'm going to make you get a lot of sales or stuff. And I'm like, if you know how to do that, why wouldn't you run ads for yourself? Like you're here trying to convince me for a $300 difference. I'm trying to bargain you, or you know how to launch your e-commerce product, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, if I have knowledge, unless my business is my knowledge, I would keep it for myself. You know, why would I? You are the only person who built it, done it. You've done it in the fitness, and now your business is to help people like coaches and stuff to excel it. Plus, Charlie, you invest in mentorship a lot. I'm not now working with Charlie because it's just Charlie. It's Alex Hormozi, Ravi, XXXXX.
It's even not even like people who are very good friends of mine who've been on the podcast recently.
Daniel Presley.
Yeah, like,
all of these people combined in one, tailored to my niche with a community of 100 plus. It's a lot of data. It's like now, rather than me testing an ad, I can just ask you or ask the community, and they tell me which ad works and which doesn't work. So it saves me money.
It's like I think it might be you who asked me yesterday. It was like, my sharp rates have really dropped. Have you seen this across anyone else? Because, and this is what people don't understand, is I have such a broad spectrum of what's going on in the marketplace. I can see very quickly if things are dipping for people, what's working and what's not working, or like trends and things that kind of flipping. And this is where it's like a superpower, because the most important thing is people understanding it's about being the right person, but in the right place at the right time. So if you do the right thing before everyone else, you have an unfair advantage. If you have like the first mover advantage as something starting to work, you have a huge like decimation effect on everyone else.
Yeah. And even something like funny thing, even when I started working with you, we structured an offer in a way, I wouldn't mention it, of course, but you just made me understand a new type of offers by this that could shape my industry, that Hormozi just spoke about it in the book. Like I got this before even the normal people, random people. So yeah, number one ads guy. And I think so far in the coaching space in general, not just online, my experience is you. Maybe not in the e-commerce products, but because you've done it, you know there's tiny single details of stuff that works and not.
And this is also where you have to have actually done like the hard miles yourself. It's like, I'm not going to teach someone to run a marathon because I've never run a marathon. If you want to do a bodybuilding show, I could also teach you that because I could do that. And I think this is where people probably need to look at the background of the person who's teaching them. Have they done the thing that you want to do? And if they have, then great. And if they've also helped loads of other people do it, then it's undisputed their thing kind of works. It's then just on you whether you're willing to do the work.
Yeah. Also the thing when I asked you about Hyros. Yeah. I'm like, shall I run an ad without Hyros? You were like, just invest in Hyros because you can't scale. You'll start getting good results, but then it's nothing. So you're like, this stuff, you are framing me, and you actually told me, no, do not run it unless you can stay with DM ads, unless you do it right. You do it with Hyros, and you need to do that. So this stuff saves a lot of costs down the line.
And it's also where my job sometimes and our job sometimes is to tell you what to do, but also what not to do. Because a lot of people are like, just want that round the ads, they don't want to get the tracking stuff. It's like, well, you have no idea what works. No idea. So like even before this, what I was actually testing on ads was I'd put a load of creative in, and actually our old creative was actually working better. So I just switched a load of stuff off. But if I didn't have the tracking, I wouldn't know, and I'd be hemorrhaging money. And the more you spend, the more these little percentage differences make a massive difference.
Agree.
One of the things you do phenomenally well is in terms of like organic content. And in my opinion, the big three superpowers, and we can touch upon these, we've already touched upon one a little bit, for the next 2 years for anyone to scale any business is going to be AI, long form content, and paid ads. What do you think has been your separator in terms of your success in terms of organic growth on social media?
I do the edits, scripts, till this day myself. Everything.
You edit the reels?
I edit the reels on my phone and I enjoy it. It takes me 5 to 10 minutes to do it. No matter what it is, I will not delegate it. And let me tell you something, the reason I'm not growing on YouTube is that I delegated it. So now I'm like, no, I'm not gonna delegate it. Maybe the edits because I'm not I hate to type on the laptop. But in terms of topics, research, scripts, I'm gonna do it on my own. Because this is a very high leverage thing. So Naval, I think you know
of
Naval.
course, yeah. Phenomenal book.
Yeah, for 4 types of leverage. You used to have capital and people started off pyramids days. You hire, you do the leverage, capital, and then there is media and software, which are the 2 next generation, AI and content. So this piece of content, I post it once, it might get me a client after 3 years. It stays. So I would rather do it. The pattern interrupt, and I'm just good in Instagram. Same TikTok, like short form. I'm not good in long form. Now I'm trying my next, like I have targets for myself. Like the next 3 targets I want to get is long form. And when I say long form, all type of long form. So YouTube, webinars, master classes, launches, this. And I'm even started to see how can I put the Twitch and streamers into my industry, because that's the future. And if I start there, then it's so good. I've heard that some people right now, they're just twitching their way of building a business, and they just open the camera and they're just like woke people with what they have, and they're making a lot, back in the States. So long form, that's number 1 I need to focus on, and paid ads, because forever you pay, you get. I never delegate the short form content. I edit it myself till this day, because I want to produce one piece of reel that actually hits. Funny update is that like a couple of months back, you could have reposted stories and pictures. Nowadays, you will not get any views even if you take a viral video. Yesterday, I took a viral video that got 5 million views on Instagram, and I reposted it. Same. What happened is that it got, in the first 4 hours, 8,000 views. And I've tried this multiple times. The moment I removed it, and I just made a 6-second video with the music and wrote something on it because it's new, today is 400K in less than 24 hours. But of course, like that's another copywriting skill we speak about it, what you need to write. But the thing is that nowadays reposts will not work. You need to create a new piece of content every time. Sometimes it does, you run away, but the algorithm are being challenging. You think about it, because this app is like they gamify it. They want you to put the work to actually do it. Short form is absolutely amazing. I never delegated. This is the number 1 thing, is that the research, the script, and the thing is what I do, and I don't complicate, and I just open the camera and speak.
So what you just said there is amazing, because I had listened to one of our sales calls maybe 2 days ago with a lady who she has a lot of followers, but I think it's kind of bullshit, and she literally wants someone to do everything for her. I'm like for me, it's just like gun in the mouth, pull the trigger, because like you will never win, because ultimately, even if you hire someone, like you have to understand how all these things work. Like we have a YouTube video about Alex Ramosi that's crushing at the moment. I came up with the idea, just filmed it my own in here. Mike did an amazing job in terms of the thumbnail and putting it all together and like cleaning it up, slaying. But I had the idea and then just did the thing. Whereas if you're waiting on someone else to kind of do everything for you and handhold your process, like through the whole process, there's a time for that, but I think you also have to earn the right to be at that kind of stage. And you earn the right to be at that stage by doing something for long enough to actually get good at it yourself first, before you can then get someone else to then help with your social media.
100%, I do agree. So now just want to focus on long form, and I'm going to do it myself in all type. This is my main focus right now, because people, yes, short form still works, but I'll tell you, a year back, if I wish I had the same business skills that I have a year back, I would have made 5x the money. But like if you compare a year back versus today, I used to have more leads. like 3x, 4x, 5x at least. But I didn't have the same business knowledge. So there's always opportunity in everything. So now the next thing, everyone is copying short form because it's really easy. Like I had three guys, Arab guys. They don't know anything. They just started. They're super young. One of them attended one of the classes that you did. He just takes my video. He just blocked me as well, but like so that I don't see his content. He just takes my video, and he just same angle, same everything. He says every single word. He never changed everything. It kind of worked for a while with him, but the thing is that long form, no way anyone can copy you, because it's too much work. It's too much work. So let me tell you this. So I told you, like, I'm learning how to do like a launch master class and stuff. Is like I want to sell to many, because if you know how to sell to many, it's like same as every single real estate book product. You can launch it to many people at once. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do a homework, and every day I'm gonna dedicate the last 3 hours of my day is to study the master, aka Alex Hormozi, in that, and Russell Brunson. So I'm opening an iPad and a laptop and a phone, 3 screens, and then I'm comparing 100 million leads versus 100 million money models, the slides and stuff. And it's a lot of work. And I'm like, it's like the first one is around 1,000 slides, the next one is around 1,600 slides. No one is going to copy that, John. Long form, no one, even if they copy the script, they will not be able to handle it in front of the camera for that. And there will be a moment where the audience will know, this guy doesn't know shit. So long form streaming is the next big things, I personally believe. But not now, like you will do it for the future.
It's funny, I was just saying this before this podcast actually, I personally think the power of short form content is starting to dwindle. I don't know if that's what you meant in terms of your leads going down, yeah. Because even like, for example, if you ask me, when did I last watch a reel, or the last reel I remember, like, yeah. I don't care. Like, I actually like LinkedIn content more now than Instagram feed. And I like YouTube.
YouTube is king.
Like, YouTube's the GOAT. And what I do like about YouTube is a difficult mistress to try and master. It's just like not as straightforward as short form, but also that's where it creates more barriers to entry for other people to come into it. Because I've had even someone like try and rip off and copy a load of my stuff on YouTube. Their stuff's done terrible because it's hard to be able to do that.
Because they can't hold the whole 20, 30 minutes of speaking in front of a camera without screwing up the thing.
Do you think there's a better place to live in 2025, or let's say in the next 5 years, than Dubai or the UAE right now?
Never.
Why?
Safety. So there is multiple factors in my opinion, but like whatever it speaks about is number one, safety for everything. Safety for your money in the bank, safety for your sane of head. Everything is easily accessible. You get whatever you want in 10, 15 minutes with no minutes. People here, they're coming just to work. So even if you think about it in your personal life, no one is trying to create a problem out of nowhere with you. And like, people are much mature and aware because they all have one goal. And even His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid said this maybe a decade before. I'm just rephrasing. I don't know what he said exactly. I don't care if you're a lion or a gazelle. When you wake up in Dubai, you need to run. You need to start running. So you're focused on a goal. And this is what I like about this city. Whether it's a personal goal, financial goal, whatever it is. So people are so busy to make other problems, such as crime and other stuff. So like almost there is no crime, safety, sane of head. I mean, even if you're super famous, even if you're an A-lister Hollywood. The other day, I was sitting in a restaurant at J1 Beach, and Lindsay Lohan was sitting right next to us. She lives here. No one came to take pictures with her. Lindsay Lohan, an A-star Hollywood star. No one cares. Even if you're a football player, yeah, it sounds good, but people respect the boundaries here. They know that there is law to hold it. Versus in other countries, people are allowed to take videos of you and do all of that. So that's number one. Like if we talk about crime safety, there's no crime, top safety in all aspects. Also social environment, everyone is respectful, there is boundaries, and everyone is aligned with one goal. But if you think about it, I visited multiple countries, is that the reason this country has well succeeded, vision of their leaders, number one, They know what's coming, what's going to happen in the next trends, and they are trying to give the best for their people and for everyone that is living in here. If you live in UAE, if you're stable, if you work, if you support the economic value and you respect everybody, they consider you as your people. They give you the same exact ease of life that they would give it to a local. I will tell you something, and this may be a lot of Arab and English expats, they take it wrong. I will tell you something. UAE here treats the local, the GCC, and the expat equally. In terms of opportunities, and I'll tell you something, expats nowadays are having way more opportunities than anyone else. It's not the country where you are coming here to work for the, like, if you go to any other country, you're basically working for the government. Somehow like this. This is not the case here. And also the geographical factor. It's on the beach, it's flat, there's no mountains, it's stuff like that created it a perfect infrastructure for everything.
What you said there was very interesting in terms of the expats being almost aligned with kind of the locals in terms of like 100%. A tiering structure. Because what actually made me think of is I got pulled over for speeding maybe 2 months ago at like 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And I was like, this, I think it was like a Land Cruiser came straight up behind me with like blue lights. I was like, and I had just been speeding. And I was like, here we go. And they pulled me over. Both of them got out of the car. They were so polite, just asking my registration. They're like, you know what you did, right? And I was like, yeah, I was driving too fast. And they were like, just don't do it again. And they just let me go. Yeah. Whereas like in the UK, they would have lectured me and talked down to me. In the US, I've had before, like the car blocked in, like basically kind of pull guns out and like get like massive warnings and big fines. But they were just like, it was Sunday mornings, no one around. They just literally used common sense to be like, dude, just don't drive as fast. Like, off you go.
I don't think anyone or any country could beat Dubai. And I don't think, in my opinion, in the next 20, 30 years, no other area will beat the GCC and the Middle East once everything is fixed. No way.
You mentioned fixed. What do you mean by that?
So, for example, like my origin country, Syria,
yeah.
For example. Now, because Dubai and UAE is built perfectly, now Saudi Arabia, Qatar is also almost same as Dubai in this terms of safety. It's like heaven. But now also they're continuing the other path. It's because if you think about Syria has a very big coast. Egypt, very big coast. It's also being well developed there. And countries such as United States and even GCC, they're investing there, which is good, which is amazing. Because in my opinion, I don't want to go into politics. Like we Syrians, we didn't know how to run our country. So it's rather I'm a capitalist guy. It's rather get business people to run the country to actually give back to the people. So I personally believe Middle East for multiple reasons, including like the reason Bali is safe, and I didn't know this, is because people believe in karma. So there's also people believe, like the origin, you're living in a country with people. People here in GCC, in the Arab world, because of their religion and other factors as well, they actually believe if they try to sorry to say this, to fuck somebody over, even if they will run away here, they will not run away in the eternity. They believe in that, and that makes them hold. Plus all the traditions, plus all their support, like they still have that. Like it's not common to not go visit your dad for lunch every weekend, even if you're married. Like if anyone would hear from your friends, they were like, we don't want to be with this guy. Versus in other countries out there, this is common. And it's common. I heard this other day the story. My friend he's from UK, and he told me the difference is my iPhone got stolen in a gym. And then we figured out that the guy, the trainer inside is he who stole my phone. And then we went to the police and stuff, and even the gym didn't fire the personal trainer. They made him sign a paper. If that would have happened in any GCC country, the guy would have been deported. The guy would have faced really, really, really big consequences. And that's because of safety. It's like they punish you on the spot. And the punishment happens from everything, government, religion, society. They don't, and this creates a barrier. I mean, I don't believe in free will as a human being. I don't believe you should give free will to humans, because humans themselves, they might hurt themselves because of their free will.
I agree 100%. I think they've got a lot of things right here with that. And I give you another example to tangent something else, is the education system in the UK is the whole UK is just kind of a bit of a ticking time bomb at the moment. But I'll give it a good example of this. In the UK, they are talking about, they taught one of our clients, actually you would know them, their children to be nice to illegal immigrants, which by definition, if you're an illegal immigrant, you are technically a criminal. Whereas but they don't teach them about AI in school. Whereas here in the UAE, they're already teaching children about AI in schools because they're actually thinking ahead.
Yeah. They teach you about AI. They have institute for cryptocurrency. Maybe it works. Maybe cryptocurrency is a fad later on. But they like to be at the top of the trends. Whatever gives you the best value of life for their people and for the people living here, they try to do it.
Where do you see AI fitting into the fitness space? Because one of the interesting things I've thought about a lot, and I actually listened to it on a Stephen Bartlett's podcast, is how AI is making a lot of people really stupid because they're outsourcing their thinking to ChatGPT or whatever it is. And it's actually even will cause an increase in, say, cognitive decline, where people aren't basically using their mental horsepower as much. And I see, even from a content perspective, people posting stuff, I was like, well, that clearly is written by ChatGPT because it's got dashes and stuff in it. And I'm an English person, I don't even know what you use a dash for. So what's your opinion on that?
So my opinion on that, yes, I've heard the study. I've seen it on myself. So because I was so busy in scaling the business and running to the business thing, I stopped that part of me that grew the page, which is writing, copywriting, and creative. And I figured out I'm becoming stupid because I'm using it. So now I strictly don't write anything using AI. I write SOPs in the work, but anything that is creative, I do write it because your brain cells will get damaged by time. Number one. Number two, again, AI is something that is given to us normal human beings. So if in 20 years, it might be used against us to dictate our behavior. So I always want to have some kind of free way of thinking a little bit. But in terms of business, let's talk about business. AI, for any person who really wants to be a business owner, it could, right now, what AI does to me, and I've been trying to learn AI for the last year, is if I would have hired normal people, I need 15 people at least. And I can get it super fast on the spot in terms of everything. Funny enough, now there is the AI athletes and AI coaches. And this is where everything is going to go into a different realm. You will have AI coaches, content creators that can create better content than both of us, that can do everything and can sell all the type of programs. You will find AI tools that has so much data. One of the stuff that I told you we're building regarding the human health optimization is can you imagine is that you will have millions of blood tests uploaded to you, markers, supplements, reviews, reads online, and in one click it tells you what's the best supplement brand, what, etc. But the bad part about it is that most of the coaches, I believe, will use it in a bad way, where it would start scamming their clients. I'll be very honest with you. We text each other on WhatsApp. I know that you're texting me, not someone else. Where there was another mentor where clearly I can see this is an AI texting me. It's not him. And that's the reason I didn't want to continue with him, although he used to go on weekly calls with me. And even if you use AI a little bit, but still it's fine. Majority of the thing is a human thing. AI will give you theoretical experience, but you will give the real life experience, and this will create. So for me, I can see that already where I'm going. If you're going and you want to compete in the next business generation, you need to have 2 tiers. You need to have a very low tier, which is super AI, accessible for 95% of the people, and then super high thing that is very limited people that want the absolute value. So I used to have a boxing coach a long time ago, and he said something that stuck with me, and I use it. He said, you are seeing all these boxing coaches that are super famous stuff. Did they ever get knocked out before? And I'm like, why are you asking me? Because they will never know what's the feeling of a knockout and how dizzy you're going to be and what drink you need to drink. They will know it based on theory. So why am I safe working with Charlie? If my payment processor shut down, and by the way, this line sold me a lot. Alia told me this before I even know you. She said she had a problem with a payment processor. She just texted you and you just said, yeah, all right, chill. Here's another payment processor. You can use that. AI wouldn't do you that assurance that is, because you're always is like, yeah, AI will always fluff me. You don't fluff, you just share it. You've had these issues before. And that's where the edge is, like, you as a human, you've never done things in real life. So I'll always be skeptical. And the way that I see it as well is that in maybe 20 years, everything that is in real life example will be 10x the price. Like if a PT session now in Dubai costs 250 dirhams, in 10 years it's gonna cost 1,500 dirhams, 2,000, and people's gonna pay for that because it's not gonna, everything will be online. So if you think about it, that real life is crazy. People want that experience in real life.
And I can give you a good example of this actually from something I've been doing this week. I bought all the crap from Alex Hormozy. I bought all the stuff from Alex Hormozy's upsell thing because I was just going to buy it anyway. And one of the things was the AI thing that I didn't really want anyway, but I was like, I'll just play around and see what this thing's like. And I put some stuff into it in terms of like pricing models and stuff we're doing. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. Yeah, I don't like that. And that's because I have the experience to know I've tried that before. It doesn't work. And that's where AI is trying to give you a specific answer with a general knowledge base. It doesn't have a track history and a backstory to know like all the small nuances. It's almost similar in my opinion of like why maybe therapy doesn't work particularly well, because you can't download your entire brain in, I don't know, 35 years of your life into someone. It would take you 5 years to explain that, if that makes sense.
It does absolutely make sense. I don't believe in therapy. I believe in journaling because it's gonna clear your thoughts. And if, like, again, if you think about it, they're just trying you not to think. Because if you know how to think and write, you're dangerous either way. Even Robert Greene says the same.
Why do you think a lot of people are struggling with how to think and write? Because that's the critical skill, in my opinion, is your ability to learn and to think. And that's why I spend so much time trying to protect my energy and also like mental bandwidth of like decisions you're trying to make every day.
Yeah. I think because of the instant gratification that happened, especially with social media and everything else, everything is fast delivery. Everything is now. So it's breaking the society into two tiers. The thinkers and the creators, and then all type of consumers. And people, because of that, they want this dopamine on seconds basis. They don't want to feel bored. While if you feel bored, you get the best ideas, you connect the dots. If you think about it, like iPhone succeeded at the first space is because Steve Jobs took a random course about calligraphy. And he's like, let's do the Macintosh with fonts. And that crushed. And it shaped the whatever we're using today. So these tiny experiences. So the other day, we're building an app, as I told you. So there was a couple of investors that I know. I wouldn't mention their names. They have big companies worth hundreds of millions of dollars. One of them has a healthy food app. And he told me, yeah, but ChatGPT can do the same. I'm like, dude, you started in the most saturated industry, in the low-calorie food space, and your company is now valued at $300 million, and you just raised $50 million in a round. What are you trying to talk about? And then I realized that investors, business mentors, everybody will tell you, this will not work. There's so many competitors in the market, but you know what they will be? They will not be me. They will not be Charlie. I don't see anyone who launched an app before who has a big personal brand, who comes from an info space knowledge, who can do maybe a crazy webinar, sales calls, blah, blah, blah. Plus, he would combine an AI. When you combine all of this, you succeed at whatever you're building. The reason today Charlie succeeded is because he connected all his dots in a market where no one had it.
You're 30.
Yeah.
What's your goal by 35?
I had this goal at the age of 25 and it was eye-opener. So I want to accumulate in liquid assets that I can liquidate, whether real estate funds, whatever, $30 million by the age of 35. Now, I have three main goals in life. I'll either do them or I'll die while I do them. It's like simple. First goal is to actually try to build $1 billion organization value. That doesn't mean it makes $1 billion. It makes $83 million per month. This will take all my life, but I'm gonna keep pushing to it. It happened because of a back-end story. Very nutshell, my dad never believed or endorsed anything that I've done in my life. And there came a moment where before 2 years, I was in him with the kitchen and he asked me how much you made this week. And I told him X. And it was shocking. Like I just made what he made in a couple of months. And I'm like, I genuinely believe it for the last couple of days. If I stay working and investing in mentors and trying, I might be able to build that. And for the first time, he's told me, yes, you can. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm not gonna let him down. It's the first time in his life that tell me you can. He didn't even tell me this about the quiz at work. That's number one. Number two is that I want to build a school because I believe in our region here, we have a lot of talents, but the normal schooling system will not help it. So the reason we don't have Cristiano Ronaldo or LeBron James or Steve Jobs or all of these people in this region is because we don't have the right infrastructure. So I want to build a school, which is half charity, half paid, that would give scholarship to these kids in the unfortunate countries to actually grow it. And to do that, you need a lot of cash. So the reason I make money is not because I like to spend them on watches and stuff and buy stuff. It's like, no, honestly, I want to allocate the resources to do that. On a side note, I don't believe in charity. Because charity is like, I'm going to give you 100 dirhams today. You're going to just spend it on bread. I believe in teaching someone or giving them a job and they will give money to their family. And the only reason I do that is by building big organizations and to build knowledge that stays after this. So that's basically my 3 goals. Last one, personally, the reason I like to jump from a triathlon to high rocks to stuff is like, I just want to feel I'm useful for myself, I'm productive. I have this lack, so I'm always trying to get it. I just want to look at the age of 70, I'm like, oh wow, I experienced all of this. So that when somebody interviews me, not even in a podcast, I tell them, oh, I tried this and I failed. I tried this and I failed that. Somehow I do like the feeling of failure and then bouncing up and back again. It's like kind of like an addiction. I don't know why.
I'll ask you one last question. What would be the best piece of advice you'd give to yourself when you were 18 if you were looking back now?
Pick the right vehicle and market, number one, in terms of work. Do so much work and volume because your health in your 20s, you can take long hours. Master leverage. That's it.
That's a good answer.
For me.
Thank you for your time today. Where's the best place people would find out more about you?
Huh?
Where's the best place people would find out more about you?
My Instagram.com/elnabih. They can find me. They can just write Nabih. I got 3 pages right now on Instagram.
It'll come up everywhere.
Yeah, 3 pages, different content, all 3 pages, just to protect yourself.
If you guys took value from the podcast, make sure you share us on your stories. Tag myself and Nabih, put it over my stories. Make sure you share this with as many people as possible. Leave a 5-star review, and we'll check you out. The next episode is on the screen right now.